What's going on, everyone? It is another installment of Kick Back and Relax, episode 80 of Left Side Heavy, the podcast, presented by Blue Wire Hustle. It's your boy, Devin LaFave. Today, I brought on Devin Ahvenus, foreman, one of my good buddies, and he is hilarious. Tells some traveling stories, some drunk stories. It was just a good old kick back and relax, and we just chatted about life, caught up. It was a very, very fun episode. So be sure to kick back, relax, leave a rating and review on Apple and Spotify. Subscribe to YouTube. If you're not watching this, there'll be a full video podcast there where you can catch full other past episodes and clips as well. So kick back, relax, enjoy the episode. And here is Devin Ahvenus. It's episode 80, the 16th installment of Kick Back and Relax, presented by Blue Wire Hustle. I'm your host, Devin LaFave. And on this one, I'm welcoming on my demon, foreman of LCP. Have you got your red seal yet?
Oh, almost there, but I'm
Almost
just don't have
there.
the potential ticket yet.
Almost there.
Past the fourth year, missed it by 4% to get that red seal, but you know what they say, second try's the charm.
That's exactly what they say. Devin Ahvenus, how's it going, buddy?
Good, man. How are you doing? Thanks for having me on here.
Yes,
Podcast
sir.
debut.
Podcast debut. I see you got the J mug too for me.
Oh, yeah. I had to bring it out for you.
For sure. For sure.
I was hoping you'd catch that.
Oh, 100%. Got it right away. You got a coffee. I got a beer.
I know. I was going to go with the beer, man, but like I said, I just woke up from a nap not too long ago.
Got that sluggish feeling?
I would have been in the 20-minute marker just like...
Devin, you're just...
Yeah, literally. Especially because I was working by myself all day today.
Oh, no.
And yeah, it was just so tedious, man. Just listen to true crime podcasts.
Yeah.
But every time there'd be like little children walking past me and I'd have to turn it down if you get into like a gruesome part in the podcast.
Oh, you didn't have your earbuds or anything?
No,
I was just
pocketing it in the hoodie pocket like a demon.
Draining your battery. Whenever I did that at work and I forgot my headphones would die, my phone would be at, say, like 75%. I'd listen to it just on my phone. Heading home from work, I get like that 20% low battery notification.
Oh,
I'm like, my God.
I was on the 40% at lunchtime. I'm like, yeah, low batteries getting switched on.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just brutal.
How's LCP treating you nowadays?
Good,
ever
man.
Since I left? You missing me?
Oh, big time, man. Devin Jeff combo, lethal.
Oh, lethal.
Yeah, it's good, man. Been there 5 years. No real plans on leaving anytime soon, so it is what it is.
How did the winter treat you with the big snowfall we got?
It was cold. Kept busy though. I didn't get any time off. Normally we get about a week off. I had 5 days. Other than that, yeah, it's been good. I mean, don't get me wrong, working in the snow is never fun.
Yeah.
Especially when all you're doing is going around and knocking snow off and you're getting snow knocked all up onto you.
Fingertips, you can't feel them. Your toes are...
Oh, exactly. And I should always invest into good gloves, but I'm rocking like the $3 gloves, just like can't feel my hands 2.5 hours into the day.
So trash.
It is trash. How's school going though?
School's good. Successful first semester. I got a decent grade, but now it's like more lab stuff this semester. It's kind of, we're just branching off of what we did in the first semester, and then some of them are just like I'm taking organizational behavior this semester, and that's just kind of it doesn't like branch off of any of the ones I took previous, but it's its own kind of thing. But taking like media performance, and it's like the second version, so it's more lab and putting what we did in the first semester and kind of putting it to practice in this semester. Kind of like trained our voice last time, and then we're now like more storytelling this time. And it's fun though. It's very hands-on, and you kind of get a feeling of what radio is going to be like. So it's exciting.
Yeah, like I've always told you, you have the voice for radio, man. You can hear this man's been training his voice.
This is why I brought this guy on, just to pump my tires the whole time. Let's keep it going, man. Let's keep it going. No, but like in media performance right now, we're doing, I don't know if you know, like bits on the radio where it's like, say, like between songs, the host will kind of like state their opinion on a certain topic and kind of like give their spiel on it, and then go to a different song and kind of leave you thinking about a certain topic.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what we're doing. And I gave my piece on the Canucks, like trading JT Miller, whether they should do it or not. And it was just over a minute long. And we had a special guest on. He's also an instructor at BCIT, but he has his own podcast. It's the Toddcast. It's Todd Hancock, and he was on the radio, and he was like pretty successful at it. He has a pretty good following, and they're basically critiquing our bits, one each, and what we can work on and everything. I did my piece, and he was asking me questions about stuff I already said. And so I was like, yeah, we should trade JT Miller because we need a better future, more prospects, because we have all that. And he's like, so why do we need to trade JT Miller?
Yeah, he wants you to clarify.
But I was like, I said why. He's like, yeah, but I think you need to be more specific. I was like, I gave like 3 reasons as to why. He's like, but like, what was your point? And I was like, what? And I was like, did you even listen to my bit? Like, you're asking me questions about things I literally said in the spiel. I thought it was like, I left the class and everyone in my class came up to me. They were like, that was the weirdest thing ever. He was basically pressing you about stuff you said. And I was like, I know, but he's also like critiquing me on, I need to say that. And I was like, yeah, it's some of those things, but I thought that was kind of like something funny, but nonetheless, it's a cool experience. But I'm looking forward to the summer, getting back in the landscaping biz, hopefully with you guys. Hopefully Kyler brings me back in open arms, because I am broke right now.
Oh, dude, I know you're more than welcome. There's very few people in this company that everybody has never had an issue with, and you were definitely one of those people. You're welcome back on my crew any day of the week, buddy. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, because we got separated at the beginning of the summer.
Yeah, you were supposed to be my lead hand, and then like 2 months in, boss man was just like, no, you're gonna go work with this guy. So it is what it is.
Yeah,
I've been working with a lot of like older people lately, like a lot of like 40-year-old guys. So it's like hard to stay on topics and stuff like that. They're talking to me about their kids and stuff, and I'm telling them about getting messed up on the weekend, and it's just like it's just not clicking all the time.
Yeah, 100%. It's a yin and yang situation. But what got you into landscaping? Like, how did you find your way into this trade?
So what got me into landscaping was it's a very seasonal gig. And with that, I'm able to kind of take off time on the slower months, because I really like going traveling and stuff like that. So in the summertime, we slow down once all the plants start burning out. And I'm able to take, my boss normally likes me taking 2 weeks, but I always try to push it for a month.
Yeah.
So I try to travel in the slow seasons. And within that, I'm able to do what I want to do and get paid at the same time.
Yeah.
And it just worked out really well for me. I don't see myself doing this for the rest of my life, but in the present moment, it's just like super nice. Like Kyler told me, hey, you can have 3 weeks to a month off every year to go traveling. And in my mind, I'm like, say less. Like, that's why I'm here, right? So yeah. I got a Southeast Asia trip planned for August coming up here.
That's
hoping
fire.
to do Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, and Laos.
Oh, sick.
So I have 3 weeks confirmed right now, but I'm gonna try and push for an extra week. We'll see what Kyler says.
Putting that OT, baby, work a Saturday.
So I can sell the point. I'm like, hey, Devin needs to come back. He needs work. I'm gonna take off for a month. It'll totally click. It'll make sense.
100%. Yeah, I saw your tweet and you were like, did I just cancel my Norway trip so I could book a trip to Cambodia and ride motorcycles with the boys? Yup.
All it took was I'm gonna go with 2 friends, Riley and Adam, and they've never really traveled before. And I had a trip planned for Norway, and they're like, let's buy scooters and like let's go drive through Southeast Asia. And I'm like, just like that, I'm like, whatever, man. Like I'm the type of person where I'm like, you tell me something, let's do it.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out once we get there. Like, I don't even want to plan it. Like, we'll plan like the first 3 days.
Yeah, plan
And
as
then
we
after
go.
that, let's just, I don't know, see where the wind takes us, right?
I friggin' love that mentality because
Mm-hmm.
once you're so focused on a game plan, then it's like you see something show up that you'd much rather do than what you wrote out.
100%,
And it's
man.
like sticking to the script sometimes doesn't always work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
yeah,
what,
living in the moment's like huge to
oh,
like having the most fun possible.
especially while traveling, because you'll
Yeah.
meet people, you'll go to places, you're gonna be like, wow, I love this place so much more. You want to
Yeah.
spend more time there, but if you have everything booked and planned already, you can't really do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I've learned is you just maybe book the first 3 days, get comfortable, and then just play it by ear after that.
Yeah. What's your mindset like when you first land and wherever you are? Like, is it just like let's just like go to the pool or like swim at bar and just get nasty this like the first night and
No,
then
I've learned the hard way. It depends. I mean, if I'm coming from Canada the first night, I kind of just want to chill. I kind of
yeah.
want to get my bearings, kind of get everything set.
Yeah.
But if I'm coming off like a 2 hour flight from somewhere else, yeah, I'll probably go to the bar. I'll probably go get trashed. It really depends on like what time I get there, how long I've been in the air and everything.
Yeah. Like when
Yeah.
you went to Ireland, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Was you landed where you're like, hey, I gotta see a bar.
Oh man. I mean, like if you go to Ireland and the first thing you do is not go to a bar, you should just go out to Ireland,
Yeah.
man. You're in the wrong
Okay.
country.
Yeah. It's different than like Cuba. It's like I'm just gonna go to like the swim at bar or like go get a bite to eat somewhere, or maybe like go for a walk somewhere, go on a hike. But Ireland, it's if you do
Oh,
anything but hit
I
up a bar like the Guinness factory, then you're doing it wrong.
oh, the Guinness factory was sick. Literally I got off the flight, I got to my hostel. I'm like, okay, let's go to the bar. Got some beers. You need some food, right? You need to get
Yeah.
some food in you once you get some beers. So I ordered some fish and chips. I'm in Ireland, might as well get the fish and chips.
Yeah.
And they hand me this big plate of fish and chips, like just greasy, like you can see the steam coming off of it.
Oh man.
And I'm like, oh, like, do you have any cutlery? Like, do you have a fork and knife? And they just start laughing at me.
Yeah.
Ah! I'm like, what? They're like, we eat our fish and chips with our hands over here. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna get third-degree burns if I you know. So they like all hand me over some plastic forks because I guess they just don't have cutlery in Ireland. They just use their hands
Yeah.
for
They're
everything.
like, oh, you're Canadian, aren't you?
Literally, they're like, that's how I know you're not from here. And I'm like, is it not the big Canadian maple leaf like on the backpack?
Yeah. I would say like with the accent, but they probably don't see a difference in
Yeah, I don't know.
non-Irish jargon.
It was the cutlery, man. They got
Yeah,
me good with
definitely the
that one.
color. They're
Got
like,
roasted hard.
yeah, you're not from here, are you?
The two big no-goes, cutlery and half pints. If you order a half pint at the bar,
Get the fuck out of
everybody's
here.
chirping you out. You just
Oh,
gotta leave the bar.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me just yeah, no chance. Fat chance and that's happening. But what are some of the cool places that you've traveled to that are just like top of your list on either you'd go back again or it's just like, man, this was like an
Oh,
unforgettable place.
I'd love to live in Ireland. I've actually been looking into that. The past year or so, they've been denying visa applications just due to COVID.
Yeah.
So Ireland, I'd love to move to and like live there for a bit. Greece was super fun. Like
Yeah,
you,
give me some Greece stories and stuff. Like, cause I've seen some play like the views there is just
oh, it's unreal, man.
unbelievable.
Well, you can get the best thing about Greece is you can go. I'm a big history guy. Like I can
Yeah.
go to a museum and I can spend hours in a museum. And at the same time, you can go out and you can party your head off like the entire night.
Yeah.
A good Greece story. So me, Mitchell, and we met this Australian guy named Mitch as well. We rented ATVs and we were gonna drive around Eos because you're allowed to drive ATVs on the road in Greece. And so the guy's like, here, let me detail you this super secret hidden beach nobody knows about. So he hands
that's
me
one of
over.
that's one of the things he sent me.
Oh, Mitch,
Yeah.
he hands me over. He's like, let me draw this map for you. I'm like, okay, okay. So he's like drawing, like he's going into detail. He's like, you're gonna see the train tracks. You're gonna take a right at the train tracks. then you're gonna go up this hill, and he hands me this piece of paper.
Looks
And
like
the paper,
chickens.
dude, it looks like he was playing hangman, like upside down and like tic-tac-toe. We took the map and just basically threw it out. Like this thing was not readable, man. And,
I don't know if it'll focus, but
oh yeah, no,
damn.
that's literally it. That's literally the map.
Yeah, I'll try and post it when I edit the video to this, but
It,
yeah.
but he gave like a 15-minute explanation for that map. Oh my god. And then so yeah, we found a hidden beach. Like there's beaches all over the place. And
Yeah.
we're driving up this dirt mountain, and it's like goats and sheep are all around us. And we get down to the bottom of this beach, and Mitchell's like, I lost the key. Like his ATV is still running, but I guess it popped out of the ignition. So we're scouring up this mountain on our ATVs, like looking for the key, and we just somehow spotted it like in the
Oh
dirt.
my.
Oh, he got so lucky, man.
Yeah, 100%. That sounds remarkable.
And it's
Just
cheap too.
yeah,
I mean, like in terms of Europe, like it's one of the cheaper European countries to go to.
yeah, and it looks like such a good bang for your buck.
Oh, 100%.
Because there's places where like Thailand, like I've heard so many good things about Thailand, and I've heard it's
Yeah.
really cheap, but like sometimes it's not easy on the eye in some places. But
Mhm.
Greece, it just looks like maybe it's just their postcard photos that they use to kind of promote it very well. But like from what I've
Mhm.
seen, it's everywhere just looks so easy on the eye, and there's not a bad view at that place.
Oh,
So
it's gorgeous, man. I mean, you go farther into the northern parts of Greece and it's like it's kind of arid. It's not as nice
yeah.
as the islands, but you just deal with what you're dealt with, right? Like it's gorgeous. I'd recommend it. If
What are
I had
some
to,
what are some
sorry.
other cool things you did in Greece?
We did a lot of island hopping. So Greece is like made up of thousands of islands.
Yeah.
We hiked through the longest gorge in Europe, actually. It's called the Samara Gorge. It's
Okay.
what we did was only about 17 kilometers, but the whole gorge is like super, super long.
Yeah.
They have natural water springs running through there. So all the water in the gorge is actually drinkable. Like you're not allowed dipping your feet in it or anything.
Really?
And during World War II, actually, they fled into the gorge and like built settlements and towns inside this gorge. So while you're hiking through, you can find all these old settlements and stuff like that. It's just like super, super cool.
That's
And then
unbelievable.
at the end of the hike, it's this town, and it's literally just like a party town. It's just like booze everywhere. It's just like cabanas. So like after a 16-kilometer hike and like 30-degree heat, you're just like, I guess it's time to have some beers, man.
Yeah. I remember when you went there, and yeah, it was Greece because you were with Mitch, and I saw photos of you guys hiking. And this might not be the exact one, but you get to the top, or you get to where like the checkpoint or summit or whatever you want to call it. And you
Mhm.
guys just have these pints where it's like half my body weight, it looks like, and it just looks like the most delicious beer I've ever seen. And you guys are just you guys are needing it so badly because it just looks so warm. But yeah, it looked phenomenal.
What blew me away, because like, don't get me wrong, I partied hard in Greece, drank a lot. I never, other than one time, I never got a really bad hangover. I think it's just like, I don't know, maybe it's hot weather and you're sweating it out the entire time or something,
Yeah,
but
maybe.
I have no idea. I mean, it just, maybe I'm just living in the moment and I'm dealing with the hangovers in my head or something, but
On to
the
the
one,
next one.
the one hangover I had, we were taking the ferry to this island, and it was literally just everybody's waiting for this ferry, everyone's standing, and I'm just laying on the pavement, just like pouring water over my head. I'm just like waterboarding myself of families and like people going to work. Oh, that's funny, man.
They're like just giving you the weird eye. They're like, how did we let him in here? How did we let him
Whose
in?
man's is this?
Yeah, someone come get them. You, the two Mitches are just turning away, walking away, and just leaving you alone. They're like, yeah, we're not with them.
Oh man, I wouldn't even have blamed them, man. I literally was just killing myself there.
Oh man. So I got another one here. Mitch said you guys got a sick Airbnb hookup and you come up stoked on life. It might be with the hidden beach story, but yeah, he says like a lady gave you directions to a secret beach. So I think Mitch has the story completely wrong, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, also says it leads to a good story on the same island of a lady's dog going.
Oh man, I forgot about that. So we were on the island Eos, which is like the main part of the city is like on this top of the hill, and like the harbor area is where all the beaches are. That's where you
Yeah.
come in on the boat. And we're staying in the harbor area. And we met these Irish girls that were staying at this hotel next to us. And you can either take cabs to get to the top of the town, which normally everybody does,
Yeah.
but it's pretty expensive because that's like a main way they make money over there. Or you can take these giant like stairs that are built into the side of a cliff, like up into the town. So we're like, yo, let's just take the stairs. So we're hiking up there, and it's a hike, dude. Like it was almost harder than the 16-kilometer hike. It's like brutal.
No way.
And like halfway up this hill, there's just this random little bar. It was called the Pit Stop, and they were serving €1 shots, which is super, super, super cheap. We're like, okay, let's take a pit stop at the pit stop.
Yeah.
And we get in there, and I'm buying like 7 shots around because it's like €1 a shot. So we're wasted, like we're drunk before we're even in the town. And this like 50-year-old British lady comes up to us, and she's like, "Oi, yeah, yeah," and she like sits down and starts chatting it up with us, and starts stealing our shots, just like she's talking to us. She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna take one of these." Takes one, and we're like, "Whatever, it's €1, so we don't care." And she had a big pit bull with her, like, and she was talking about how she moved to the island and how because the Greece is infested with stray cats. There's just like thousands of stray cats everywhere.
Yeah.
And so she's drunk off our alcohol and lets go of her pit bull, and her pit bull just chases this cat. It's like running up the cliff, and we're like, are you gonna get that dog? And she's like, oh, just casually, oh, it's just mauling a cat. And we're like, we're shook. We're like, okay, we'll go get the dog. So we're about to go get the dog. And then she's like, oh, I'll get the dog. So she goes up and gets the dog, and we're like, we need to get out of here. This lady's crazy. Just casually mentions, oh, it's just mauling a cat. Like, don't.
I wouldn't even know what to say.
We were literally, okay, let's get the dog. She's not going to get the dog. I guess we'll get it. And so she brings back the dog. We didn't see the cat. We just figured we probably got the cat.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, it just casually says, oh yeah, it's going hunting.
Yeah, literally just going for it.
What are some cool hikes that you went on in Greece?
So I bootied off of myself. I went up to Meteora, which is in the northern part of Greece. And it's these monasteries that were built by the Catholic monks during when the Muslims invaded Greece and like ruled over Greece like way back in the day. So they ran and fled into the countryside and stuff like that. And it's like these giant rock monoliths, and there's just like beautiful monasteries built on top of them. It was easily the coolest place I've ever built or been to.
Yeah.
And these priests would take like 90 years to just build like a tiny little monastery, but there's some up there that were like 30 rooms deep, and they would literally parkour climb up these mountains with bricks, like, and I'm like, so how many people died? And they're like, oh, like they almost all died while building these things. I'm like, well, thankfully we have elevators now. Like, I'm not about to parkour climb up here. But that was crazy, man. It was like so beautiful up there. We did this other place called Mount Lycabettus, which is in Athens, and it overlooks the Pantheon. And we went up there for the sunset, and at nighttime, all the lights in the city like turn off except for street lights and stuff. And the Pantheon is just lit up by floodlights. And so we're like on top of this mountain looking at the sunset while the Pantheon's lit up. It was super cool, man. I would highly recommend that if you go to Athens.
That's that sounds amazing. It doesn't sound real.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is I guess people have been so lazy that they've built like it's kind of like a chairlift, but it's more like you kind of go inside of it, like a gondola almost, but it's not
Okay.
like a big gondola. So you can bring up a couple drinks with you too, and you don't got to worry about making your way down it.
That's wonderful.
Mhm.
What are some other places that you've traveled to?
I've been to Ireland, Scotland, England, Netherlands, Spain, Greece, and Mexico. Those are the ones I've like traveled in. I've had layovers in like different countries and stuff
Yeah.
like that. The worst layover I ever had was in Austria. I would be happy if I never go to Austria just for that layover I had.
What
Because
happened?
so I get there, it's on my return flight home from Greece, and
Yeah.
I bring back my family like little tic-tac-toe like memorial or like memory things.
Yeah.
So I bought my brother this King Leonidas. He was the guy from the Spartans, like the 300 Spartans leader or
Yeah.
whatever. So it's this statue, and he's holding like this like spear that you can take out. It's a tiny little spear. It's not even pointy like. And the lady's like, "What is this?" I'm like, "It's a statue." She's like, "What is it for?" Like, "It's for my brother." And she's like, she's like, "What is this spear? Like, is this a weapon?" I'm like, "No, it's not." So they took me out for like secondary screening. They're
Oh
wiping
my
me down. They think it's drugs. They think this statue is drugs. They're like testing it. They're like taking pieces off the statue.
oh
So I'm
my
there for like
God.
50 minutes, miss my flight. And then they come back and they're like, "You can't travel with the spear. The spear is a weapon." So I'm like, "Okay, whatever." They put me on another flight. But before that, they made me pay an €80 fee to print me off a different boarding pass for this other flight.
Oh my God.
So I missed my flight. I had to pay €80 and I didn't get to bring home the spear for King Leonidas. So it's just King Leonidas with his shield holding no spear. So I was like, "Austria, I'll take a pass next time."
Yeah, you can kick rocks, bud. That's enough.
Mhm.
What was Amsterdam like? Because Tegan's been there, and
Gong show, man.
one of
It's a
the
good time.
said one of the funniest stories I've ever heard in my life. So she goes there with a bunch of friends, and I really hope this is Amsterdam. I think it is, but
Mhm.
I believe it was Rosa Parks, her house. I think it was her, but she goes there with her friends, and they're like looking at this house. They're like, I can't believe that. Like she lived in this house. Like they're stoned out of their
Oh,
minds.
do you mean Anne Frank?
And Frank.
Rosa Parks?
I knew I had the name wrong. I knew I had the name wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's like staring at the house. They're like, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. Can't
Yeah, it's
believe
crazy once you're
that
there, man.
yeah, like I can't believe she lived here. Like this is unbelievable. And they're ripped. They look over to the right and they see like a bunch of people like in a crowd, like taking pictures of this house. And it's just them three in front of the house they're looking at, and they're like, wait a second. They look at photos, they're like, oh, this is the wrong house.
Oh no. Oh, that is funny.
Oh, they said this whole thing of like, I can't believe that she lived here. Like, this is so beautiful. Like, the history is unbelievable. And they were just talking about the wrong house.
Speaking of Anne Frank, actually, me and Seamus, we went to Amsterdam together, but our buddy Mike was in Germany doing some research or like doing a study over in Germany, and he was flying out to meet us. But in England, I met this New Zealand girl who was super cool and actually flew out to come chill with us for the weekend.
Yeah.
But Mike had no idea, and at the time there was a big joke in our friend group that Mike looked like Nick Jonas from the Jonas Brothers.
Yeah.
So I told this girl, I'm like, "Hey, like you got to run up to my buddy and just like pretend it's Nick Jonas, just like at the top of your lungs, be like, 'Oh my God, it's Nick Jonas.'" So she seemed like super hesitant, like we didn't think she was gonna do it, and we were meeting him in front of the Anne Frank house, and she goes running out over to him, killed it, like throwing her hands. "It's Nick Jonas! I can't believe it's Nick Jonas!" So everybody, because it's a big attraction, there's probably like 100 plus people
Yeah.
there, all looking over like, "Nick Jonas, Nick Jonas." And you can see Mike just surveying, looking for us, like, where are these guys? And me and Seamus were just dying. It was so funny, man.
That is so funny because yeah, I know Mike and he worked at Leo's. He was a manager there, and he's just such like a reserved guy. Like
Oh,
he only
100%.
he only like kind of comfortably talks with people he's like really familiar with. Like you never
Mhm.
see the full side of him if you like just getting to know him.
Yeah.
And so when he like deals with that kind of shit, he's probably like, okay, what the fuck is happening? Like he
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of
He
just
was
like goes
mumbling.
into his shell.
He was mumbling. He's just like, I'm not Nick Jonas. I'm not Nick Jonas. And oh, it was so good. But
That's
she
so
killed it. Like
funny.
we didn't think she was gonna do it, but she
Yeah.
like blew it out of the water.
That's fucking hilarious. So what did he say when he saw you guys?
He rolled over and he's like, I can't believe you guys got her to do that because everybody's still looking. They're from a distance. They're actually
Yeah.
like, is that Nick Jonas? Like there's murmuring going on in the
Yeah.
crowd. Oh, yeah, it was fun. And then yeah, we all just went out drinking, went to Vondel Park. If you're in Amsterdam, go to Vondel Park. You'll just see a bunch of hippies doing hippie stuff, like those like magic balls or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Hundreds of people doing those, man. Like Vondel Park is still living in the 60s. It's like super cool, man.
That's fire.
Mhm.
So did you just kind of like basically booze and just look at
Yeah, we like went and saw museums.
yeah.
We checked out stuff like that. Did a lot of sightseeing. The canals, I didn't actually go on the canals. Next time I go there, I definitely will want to.
Yeah.
But there's a bit of anything in Amsterdam for you. We went into this heavy metal bar where like all the waitresses were just like topless, but they were like hardcore, like 50-year-old moms. So we're just like, we're like, okay, let's have a couple beers and then go. But on the outside, it doesn't look like a heavy metal bar. And you
Yeah.
walk in, there's just like guitars and everything. Like I was saying, there's a bit of everything in Amsterdam.
Is it kind of like a culture shock? Because I always imagine that it's just like vastly different than here.
Yeah, well, I mean, the similar thing is people are very serious about bike lanes, especially in Amsterdam. If you're walking in the bike lane, like they won't even like honk their horn. They'll just like full on tackle you to the ground and then look you in the eyes and go, "This is a bike lane," and then just keep on moving.
Oh
Like,
my gosh.
so if I had one tip, don't walk in the bike lanes because they will throw down over the bike lanes there.
If you're filming for content, walk in the bike lane.
Oh, seriously, you're gonna get knocked out though. Like those guys don't play, man.
Did you
But
see
it
Did
is
you
a culture shock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to a degree, I'm expecting more of a culture shock in Asia because it's like organized chaos. Europe is kind of westernized almost. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
like in certain countries, anyways. But yeah, you just go in open minded. That's how I do everything, right?
Yeah, 100%. I'm the same way. But what was like Scotland and England like? Because I was supposed to go to England last year, but that or like right when COVID hit is when I was
Mhm.
supposed to go to
Oh yeah,
England.
you're supposed to go with your girlfriend.
Yeah, I was supposed to see her extended family.
Mhm.
I was really excited for it. Like didn't have to worry about even like a place to stay. We had our grandpa's place to stay. I was gonna because I'm celiac, I was gonna take a night off and just hammer everything I wasn't allowed to eat. Like I was like, I can't go to England and not have fish and chips, especially her hometown is like the heart and soul of like I forget the term that she used, but like biggest fish and chips
Mhm.
city in England.
Oh yeah.
And it's like the heart and soul of it. And so I was like, I have to have it. Like I can't not. So
My
I was gonna
my
take a
time.
night off and just have everything I wasn't allowed to eat. Book a night off, like all right, 3 p.m. on, just eating all this fucking gluten shit and then taking the rest off and hating
It'd be
myself.
it'd be worth it, man. Like fish and
Yeah.
chips just hit different over there. I mean, like it's like having a Guinness in Ireland. It just
Yeah.
tastes a little different. It was shitty for me because while I was in England, I got to Manchester 2 days after the Manchester bombing at the Ariana Grande concert. So,
Oh.
like when you picture England cops, you think of them with like the silly little hat, like kind of bigger,
Yeah.
swinging a nightstick around type of thing. But I got there and it's like military everywhere, like rightfully so, right? There was a
Yeah.
terrorist attack. And then while I was in London, there was actually another terrorist attack while we were on a bar crawl, and it was like 1 a.m, and our bar crawl leader's like, I need to tell you guys something. Like, there's been a terrorist attack, and like we're all so drunk, we're all just like looking at each other like, what? And like half the group was like, should we keep drinking? And then the other half of the group's like, we should probably go home.
Yeah.
And I was kind of on the side of, we should probably go home. Like, we just don't know what's going on. And we were trying to get home, but everything's closed off. We couldn't take a taxi because like they were backed up. So we ended up walking like 20 kilometers to get all the way home.
That's unbelievable. I hope I don't like ever get into situations like that. It's just like frightening.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. I mean, the guy drove onto the London Bridge and started running people over, and then like hopped down and started stabbing people and stuff like that.
Holy.
And like, yeah, it was crazy. And like, I remember I got hooked to the hostel and I called my parents. I'm like, hey, don't worry, I'm safe. And they're like, the time difference is so vast.
Yeah.
They're like, safe from what? Like, how drunk are you right now? And I'm like, there was a terrorist attack. And my mom's like, oh, bawling her eyes out. But yeah, no, I was all safe. England isn't on my top tier return list. I know I have a lot of friends in England, and they say the number one thing to do in England is leave. So I'm sure you'd have a good time though going with your girlfriend.
Because we were gonna go to England, and obviously I'm gonna try and like soak in as much as I can, because I don't go traveling. But we were gonna also like hit up France and like Amsterdam, because everything's just like, you always think about Canada and it's just like provinces or like what's close to us, and like Seattle and Oregon and stuff. But like in Europe, it's like a train ride to a different country. It's like, yeah, we're 3 hours from France. Let's go. And it's like,
I know.
We're 3 hours from Kelowna. Like, that's not nearly the same.
And the flights are so much cheaper. Like you can get flights for like $30 to different countries, man. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, and it's just like the convenience of it. It's like, yo, why don't we just like take a day and like fly to Portugal and then like spend a day over there and like come back?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, don't plan the trip, man. Just go with the flow. Like, you'll probably meet people and they're like, hey, we're gonna be going to the Lake District. They're like, oh, I'll go to the Lake District. And it's just
fuck it.
Such a solid time. One of my favorite stories of England though, me and Seamus met this 40-year-old Mexican lady, and she didn't speak English very well.
Yeah.
So we were helping her find her room because she was staying in the same hostel as us. And she just happened to be staying in the exact hostel room that we were. So we were like sharing the room with her. And she was so thankful because we were being so nice, helped her find her room. Seamus wasn't feeling good that night, so he stayed home and I went out drinking. That's actually when I met that New Zealand girl.
Yeah.
And I get back to the hostel and this lady is like, she bought us a bottle of wine for like helping us. And I'm like, oh, like I can't take it with me. We're going to Amsterdam tomorrow. And she's like, oh, well, drink it with me right now. And I'm like, say less. Let's go drink this bottle of wine. So I already had some drinks. She's already had some drinks. And we're like, the hostel didn't allow us to drink inside, so we had to drink it on the stairs. So we're outside on the street just downing this bottle of wine, and by the end of the time the wine's done, like I'm drunk and she's like way too drunk. So I'm helping her up the stairs, she's helping me up the stairs, and we get into the escalator or elevator, and she's kind of playing pinball in there. She's like bouncing off all the walls and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh no, like what's gonna happen here?
What did I do?
Literally. So we get into the hostel room and Seamus wakes up because she's like playing pinball in the hostel room now.
Yeah.
Seamus is texting me. He's like, oh man, if she throws up, like I'm just gonna yeet myself out this window, because he was already feeling sick.
Yeah.
So I lay her down, she's in bed, and thankfully, like in this hostel, it's always bunk beds in hostels, but these ones had covers, so you can kind of cover yourself. So I put the covers on, I'm laying down, and me and
Seamus it goes over.
Yeah, over the bunk, so you can kind of have a little privacy, so it like blocks the room from seeing into your bunk there.
Gotcha.
And so me and Seamus are just texting each other because I'm wired, like I'm wide awake, and he's now woken up from her. And you know, like when you're drinking and you get those burps, it's
Yeah.
like the dangerous burps, like, oh. So she starts doing that, and
Oh
Seamus is
no.
like, oh my God, like, is this really about to happen? And I'm like, oh no, she's okay. And then she lets out one sneaky little blip, and Seamus instantly just jumps out of the bed, just rips open all the windows. It's like 1 a.m. in the morning. Like, he doesn't care. Like, he doesn't. So
Yeah.
anyway, we're like, okay, she just had a sneaky gurp. She's not gurping anymore. She's all good. And then out of nowhere, she's just like, just like spews, goes somehow gets enough power on it to push the covers away. It like spews out a little bit. And I'm like, oh my God. And like in a panic, she like gets up to run to the washroom and slides out in her own puke, like literally like a cartoon. And just like,
Oh.
and so she's like army crawling now to get to the get to the washroom. And I feel responsible almost. So like I get out of bed and I'm trying to like help her get to the washroom, but she's only speaking Spanish now because like there's no English coming out of her.
No shot.
And I'm just like, oh my God. So she gets in there, like I'm holding her hair for her. And I was just like, I can't believe that. And we got to catch a flight in 4 hours. Thankfully, fun story though, she added me on Facebook, and she actually came to Vancouver a couple of years ago, and I like
Oh,
showed her around and stuff.
oh really?
Yeah, and she was like, I was so embarrassed that one day. I'm like, you were fine. Like, it wasn't even that bad.
Kind of like you in that bar bathroom that one night.
Oh, yeah. Was that something Mitchell brought up?
Yep.
Oh, man, that was bad,
I was
dude.
like, yo, Mitch, I need stuff. And he's like, he got like really hammered in this bar one time. I was like, that's right, the bar, the
Oh,
infamous Devin bar story.
man, that was actually the worst I've ever been in a bar ever. I had my one friend like antagonizing me, like trying to get me going, and anyway, bad call on my decision. I decided to pick up the garbage can and throw it, and it just so happened to smash the mirror and literally just shattered. And like in my drunken state, I'm like, they won't know it's me. So I just walk out of the washroom and I just leave the bar. I just like walk out of there. And the bar people are talking to all my friends, like, hey, your buddy just smashed the mirror. And they're like, no, like Devin would never do that. Like, because I would never do that.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, like you got the wrong guy. And and my one buddy was just like, no, he did. He's like, I told him to throw the garbage can, and it hit the mirror, and I was like, oh my God. So I went back, like I felt awful the
Yeah.
next day. I went back. I'm like, how many people were working? There's 5 of us. So I bought them all $25 gift cards to Starbucks, and then I paid for the mirror, obviously.
Yeah.
And then like for 2 years, I'm like, I can never go in that bar. Like I
No.
cannot believe I did that. And they were just like, dude, like come back. Like it wasn't the bar. People thought I got roofied, which for all I know,
Really.
I probably did get roofied because like I do not remember any of this, man.
My God. That's all like that's scary.
It was scary, man, because I woke up like 4 hours later, like laying up against a wall. And I was just like, I didn't even know where I was. And then I came to and I realized I was just like 2 blocks away from the bar. So truthfully, like I probably got roofied that night because when I got to the bar, I was okay. And
Yeah.
then like out of nowhere, it was just like done. Because
Yeah.
the bartender was like, dude, I was serving you drinks, you were fine. And then out of nowhere, it was just like a click of a button, man. It was crazy.
Yeah. I've had one of those nights where like I don't really remember anything I did last night,
Mm-hmm.
but it was just because I was an idiot and got way too funky. I made this game and it was kind of like Monopoly, but every square you land on, you got to do some sort of drinking.
Mm.
And some of them were like one shot, some of them were two shots, one of them was like waterfall. So first person starts drinking, everyone drinks until the last person stops, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And everyone, like for the shot ones, they're like, hey, we're just gonna like take 2 sips for every shot we have to take, kind of thing. But I was trying to play hero,
Oh yeah.
right? And that didn't work out. And I got absolutely hammered. And it was like I woke up in the morning and my girlfriend and her friend, like I told her friend to like shut up and go inside, and because we were out on the back deck and she was like trying to help me, and I like walked downstairs where she was sitting. I was like, what are you doing here? And she was like, you fucking told me to come here. And I was like,
Oh
yeah,
no,
it was
that's bad.
terrible. I woke up in the morning, they were telling me everything because I did not remember. I was
And
like,
it's so cringy hearing those
yo,
stories back.
and she said, she was like, yeah, you told me like shut up and go inside. So I like came inside and like hung out on the couch by myself, and then like you like interrogated me when you came in, and I was like, yo, like I felt so bad.
Oh
I felt terrible.
yeah. You're like,
So
let me just ride in the back seat here, just hang my head in shame for a little bit.
yeah, like it was honestly something where it's like it made you know when like you get drunk and you're like, oh, I'm never drinking again. Like
Yeah,
when that happened, I was like, yo, I need to like at least watch myself because I cannot let this happen again.
yeah,
I can't have
seriously.
that on my conscience, man. I
Yeah, it's
can't.
bad.
It made me feel terrible. But what was Scotland like? I feel whenever I think of Scotland, I think of similar to like New Zealand, just a lot of green and rolling hills, and then like people in kilts like 24/7.
Dude, Scotland, sick. From the places I've been in the UK, Edinburgh was easily the sickest city. Like, if I had to go anywhere in the UK again, it'd be Edinburgh. Skip Glasgow. Glasgow is the shittiest shithole town I've ever been in, dude. I only had bad times in Glasgow. So you can take a ferry from Belfast into Scotland, and that's what I did. And I got into my hostel around like 8:30, 9 o'clock. And it was one of those days where I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna turn it in early. I'll have the whole day ahead of me here to like explore the next day. And I booked a hostel room that had 4 beds, so it was 2 bunk beds. And I'm like, I'm gonna get 6 sleep. There's only gonna be 4 people in here at most.
Yeah.
And I opened the door, and in hostels, like every hostel bunk kind of has a reading light or whatever, so you can have your light on without having like the big light on. And I open the door, and there's like one reading light on, and it quickly switches off. And like, like you hear some scuffling, and I'm like, oh my god, like what's going on here? And before I walk around the corner, some thick Irish accent. He's like, "You cool? You cool?" Like I can't do the accent. It was so thick. He's like, "Are
Yeah.
you cool?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm cool, man. Like I'm just going to bed. Like what's up?" And he turns the light back on. You know, like those trays you get at McDonald's with your food to like carry to go sit down or whatever.
Yeah.
He had that type of tray with just a mountain of cocaine on it. And I'm like,
What's
okay, man.
that?
Like, and he's talking a million words a minute to me. He's like, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, man, like, I just want to go to bed. Like, he's like, come to the bar with me. I'm like, man, like, I'm so tired. Like, I'm just gonna go to bed. And he's just like, no, come to the bar with me. And in my mind, I'm like, you know what? I should probably stay on this guy's good side. He's gonna be sleeping in my room with me
Yeah.
tonight. Like, I don't want him to attack me in the middle of the night, right? Like, okay, like, let's go to the bar. So, like, he puts all his stuff away, he locks it all up. And there's a bar in the hostel, like, underneath it or whatever. So we're down there. I'm having a pint and I'm yawning. Like, I'm trying to make it apparent that I don't want to be there. I'm like, oh, what time is it? And he's just like, and blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he told me his wife divorced him. So he, like, moved over to Scotland to find work. And I'm like trying to comfort him, and at the same time, I'm like, I just don't want to be here.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna go to the washroom. I'm like, okay, sick. Like he's gonna go to the washroom, and then he'll come back. I'll say I'm gonna go to bed. So I'm finishing my beer, and the bouncer comes up to me, and he's just like, you and your buddy need to leave right now. And I'm like, why? Like, what's going on? He's just like, your buddy's in there, just like punching like the stalls. He's like kicking the toilet and stuff. And I'm like, first of all, this is not my buddy.
Yeah.
Second of all, I will go upstairs right now. Like I've been trying to go upstairs this entire time.
Yeah.
And so I
Oh, I need
explained,
to leave? Say
I'm like,
less.
where were you 40 minutes ago? So he's just like, so because he wasn't allowing the guy to stay in the hostel. He's like, so are you this guy's friend? So I explained the story to him. I'm like, man, like, literally met this guy 45 minutes ago. Like, he forced me to come to the bar. So he's just like, okay, he's not spending the night here, whatever. So I get up to the room, and I guess 2 guests didn't check in. So I had the whole room to myself.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best sleeps I had the entire trip. And in the morning after, the guy, he's obviously worried because he had a mountain of cocaine to come collect. He's like banging on the door. He's like, "Are you in there? Are you in there?" And I open the door, and he just like runs over, grabs all his stuff, and just runs out the door. And I was just like, you know what? Like,
I'm never coming back here
I'm
again.
never coming back here, because there's nothing else. Like, Glasgow is just kind of, it's like a crappier Vancouver. Like, in terms of
Gotcha.
how the buildings look, like, Vancouver's beautiful. We got beautiful landscapes. Glasgow doesn't have that. I witnessed a homeless man literally pull his pants down, poo, and then just pull his pants back up and keep it moving. And it was like, between that and this guy like freaking out in the bar, I'm just like, I'll probably never come to Glasgow again.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Confidently, I can say that.
That was a trip. Did you go there
Bro,
alone? Were you there alone?
yeah, I was just by myself. Like, I didn't meet up with Seamus until I got into England. So I was by myself for about a month. And then yeah, that was awful. But Edinburgh was awesome. Edinburgh was like the sickest city ever.
Is it like the landscape of it that makes it good, or just like
Yeah,
the
so they have like a
vibe it
big,
gives off?
the vibe big time. And then even the city, like there's like hills around it. The castle is in the town too. The
Oh,
hostel I
sick.
was staying at was called Castle Rock, was actually at the base of the castle. And sick hostel, probably the sickest hostel I've ever been into. They had a beer pong tournament, and the rules were you had to partner up with people from your country. So it was like me and this like 40-year-old man from Canada, and we just tore it up, like literally
Really?
demolished the competition. I'm like, do you guys even play beer pong from where you guys are from?
Or
We're
did you
like,
guys just hear about it yesterday and thought this would be a good idea?
yeah, we're like, you guys shouldn't have invited us here. And it's like me and this 40-year-old man just like nailing the bank shots, hitting the trick shots, no redemption. Like, I think we probably lost like 3 cups, and we won like a 50 pound drinking like coupon or whatever. And so I didn't even pay for beers the entire night.
That's
Sick.
that's
Super good time.
unreal.
Yeah.
How long was it? Like, how long did it last? The beer pong tournament. Like,
The beer pong tournament was about like an hour and a bit. There was like maybe like 7 or 8 teams, but like there was some games that took like 20 minutes, and you're just sitting there like, oh man, just hit a cup. Like, there's like 4 cups left on both teams, and they're like not even touching the cups. And the hostel guys are like, okay, this one's a draw. Moving on to the next game.
Oh my gosh, that's something else. What else like did you do there? Did you go on any hikes? Is there
Yeah, I
what are
went.
the people like down there?
Super friendly, man.
Yeah.
Especially in the Highlands. When you go into the Highlands of Scotland, you won't be able to understand anybody, but they're like bringing you. They want you to like almost come into their house. They're so friendly. This one lady, she was like, "You need to come here. I have the best soup." So I'm like, "Okay, say less." I
Yeah.
have a photo. I'll send it to you. It's literally, she calls it hearty soup, and she hands it to me, and it's like this carrot, it's maybe cut 3 times. It's just like 3 giant chunks of carrot, like potato, onion. It was literally the best soup I ever had, man. But it didn't look good, but it tasted so good, man. It was
Tasted
hearty.
fire.
I felt like I gained strength eating that soup.
That's hilarious. That's amazing. But no, yeah, I want to go traveling so badly. One thing I really want to do is I want to road trip across Canada.
Yeah,
I want to rent like a bootleg sprinter van because those are too expensive. So I want to like buy
yeah,
something I can just like put a mattress in or something like that, and then I want to go across Canada. I think that would be cool.
yeah. Like, I went to the. Have you ever been to the Rocky Mountains?
No.
Man, I went to the Rocky Mountains this year for the first time, and I want to make it an annual trip. It's just like so beautiful out there. Like, it gives BC a run for its money just in that area, man.
Really?
Oh, it was gorgeous. It like Banff, Jasper. The drive from Banff and Jasper is just breathtaking. my roommate was driving, and I'm sitting in the passenger seat, just like, look at that. Look at that. And he's like almost getting irritated because he can't look. He's driving. I'm like, look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
And he's just like, dude, like, I'm driving here. But I'm just like, I love nature. So I'm just fangirling over this. I'm like, look at the size of that mountain. he's like, yeah, that's a mountain.
That's sick, man. That's that's even like whenever I just drive up to Squamish or Whistler and just the sea to sky drive. I love that drive, but I have to be careful because I can't catch myself looking at the view because I'm like it's the windiest,
it's so windy,
dangerous highway, and I'm like, yeah, if I like hydroplane or like I catch myself turning late, then I'm going right off the side of this. Like I got to be careful, but no, I always catch myself driving on the sea of sky, but I tend to take it for granted, man.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I'd say it's like the sea to sky, like on steroids, man. It's crazy.
That's yeah, I need to check that out. Georgia's family went road trip to Banff one time, and they said they loved it. So it's definitely has a high reputation.
Oh, it's good, man. The weird thing is I had fish and chips in Banff actually, and they put mint in their peas. And it was good. It was really good, but I was like, it was minty peas. And it was just like, it was like almost weird, but so weird it was good. Like you got to try it. If you ever have peas, add some mint to it. Thank me later.
Interesting. Yeah, that's even hard to like
who thinks of that?
Yeah. How do you like, was it by accident?
I think it's just like because Banff's kind of like resorty. I think they're trying to get all bougie and like fancy fish and chips or whatever. They're like, oh, we can charge $10 more. We put mint in the peas.
Pretty much. How long have you been growing your hair out for, man?
Oh man, this thing's been going for like a year and a half now. It's got the Jesus flow going.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of want to get it trimmed or whatever. But the flow's been kind of rocking for me lately, not gonna lie. I got a lot of compliments. There's actually this old lady at one of my sites who's always just like, I wish my hair looked like yours. And she's like, I wish it curled. Like my hair's like really curly in the back or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's whatever, man.
Yeah, you've been you've gotten a few compliments at work.
Yeah, I guess like I'm just like friendly to the old ladies, and old ladies pump my tires, man. Like if I ever need a confidence boost, old ladies got my backs, man.
What was it said at
Oh, Gretchen?
Yeah, what did you say that one time?
So me and Jevin were like on our knees just like working in this area.
So me and you?
Yeah. And me and Jevin. We're just working, just minding our own business. And then this lady comes by and she's super nice. And she just looks at us and she's like, oh, I love to see a man on his knees. And me and Jevin are just like, she's like a 5-year-old lady and she's like laughing. And I'm like, ooh, like that was kind of spicy.
Yeah, we both just look at each other. We're like, did we hear that correctly? Like
just shook, literally shook us. And she's like walking off, just snickering, like
yeah. And I was like, this is a woman that's still with her significant other right now. Like
her husband was with her, like while she said it.
We're like, we have to tell people about this. So that we just go up to Ryan and Adam. We're like, you would not believe the shit that we were just told.
Oh man, yeah. Well, the funny thing about this company, man, is there's some like pretty hilarious like figures, like people we work with. Like I work with this one guy who's like, he's like older and he's just like super haggard. And I was working in this bed and I found the biggest worm. Like it was like this long. Yeah. And I was like, hey Dad, look at this. And I like throw it at him so he can look at this worm. And he opens his mouth and the worm just like falls into his mouth. And he's like, tastes like dirt. I'm like, well, no, yeah, it lives in dirt, bro. But he was like, he just spit out the biggest worm I've ever seen. I'm like, why'd you catch it into your mouth? He's like, I don't know. It just kind of walked off. I was dead, man.
Oh my god, that's what? Why is that your first instinct? Like,
The guy's built different, man.
he must
literally,
be.
literally built different.
That's psychopath behavior right there.
Yup.
I could imagine. But is there anything else you had ready to go? Is there anything else you wanted to say? Any traveling stories? Any other work stories? Anything else?
Oh, I got a good work story. No, here we go. Have you ever met a celebrity? I told Rylan I'd tell this story. Have you ever met a celebrity?
Have you ever met a celebrity? I can't think of any off the top of my head. I don't think I have.
So I swear to God, Vin Diesel saved me one night. I swear to God. So backstory. I took this girl out on a first date and we went to this park, and I haven't been to this park in years. And I guess I didn't realize there was a gate or whatever. So we drove all the way down and the gate closed at 9, and we ended up getting back up around like 10:30, 11. We just lost track of time. Like the date was going really well. And I get up there and I'm like, oh no, like she had work in the morning and needed to be home by like 7 in the morning. So I'm like trying to get, and this is before I had my truck. I was driving a car. I'm trying to drive my car up this like grassy hill to try and get around this gate, and it's just not happening.
Yeah.
So I just stop what I'm doing and I call Rylan. Like, if anything's going wrong, just call Rylan. So I'm like, man, I need you to bring some tools to break me out of this gate. He's like, say less. So he's there in like 25 minutes with like bolt cutters, like a hacksaw, and we're trying to open this gate, but it's like one of those like giant gates with like where they can swing it open and close it like that. And we can't get it open. And this truck pulls up, and I swear to God, dude, like if this was not Vin Diesel, this was Vin Diesel's like double that he pays to go to public appearances.
Like
he
stuntman, like
literally, like he hopped out of this truck, tank top on, and he first thing he's like, "What's up? What's going on?" And me and Rylan kind of like look at each other. He's like, "You guys stuck? Like, do you need help?" And we're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Hold on." So he pulls out this tire iron and he like goes up to the lock on the gate, and he's trying to pry open this lock, and this guy's muscles are just bulging. And he's like, it's not happening. And he's just like, okay, I got one more trick. He's like, you guys are going to want to back up for this. We're like, okay. So we back up, and he backs his truck up to the gate, and he puts a tow strap on this gate and just pins it, like drives as fast as he can, and this gate explodes. Just like, metal goes flying everywhere. Me and Rylan are just looking at each other like, did Vin Diesel just save us? Like, and he rolls up to us. He's like, we gotta go, guys. We gotta go. So we're driving out of there as fast as we can. I got Tokyo Drift music playing in my head. And like, man, I'm just thinking, I'm like, that's family, man.
Yeah,
like,
that's
Diesel
family.
Just saved me, bro. So we're driving all the way home, and I'm talking to this girl, and she's like, he looked a lot like Vin Diesel. I'm like, I think that was Vin Diesel. Like, he must have just been, there must have been a movie or something, dude. Like, I swear to God, that was Vin Diesel.
And it was in Vancouver?
Yeah, it was in Vancouver. It was like just on the outskirts of Vancouver, a little park around there.
Was it like a nice area?
Yeah, it was a gorgeous area. Like,
I wouldn't be surprised, because a lot of celebrities live here. Like, they have like random houses here for like.
And he was driving like a souped up like $100,000 like dually Dodge Ram, and he had like a gorgeous girl in his passenger seat. I'm like, this is Vin Diesel, man. Like, and he just like
100%.
pulled up, saved the day, drove home, and I'm like, to this day, I'm like, I need to write him a letter or something.
Yeah.
Like, because they'll ticket you big time for like being behind the gate past a certain time or whatever. And I got the girl home before she had to start work. First day.
Go.
Yeah, Vin Diesel saved the day, bro.
The Diesel's my guy. Come on the pod.
Yeah.
Was it like a gated community?
No, so it's just like this, like it's like a super long driveway down to this beach area, and they close the gate at night so people don't go there like past like a certain time or whatever. And the when they open the gate, they go down there and they check for vehicles and they ticket you if you stay overnight or whatever. So I
Yeah.
wasn't even so worried about the ticket. I just didn't want to like make this girl late for her shift and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it actually worked out better. Like that's like one of my favorite stories.
That's so fire.
Yeah.
I really hope that it was Vin Diesel just
I
for the
swear, man, if
aspect.
it wasn't Vin Diesel, this is his shadow clone, like double stunt man,
Everything above.
everything.
That's fucking unbelievable. That's so sick. But every kickback and relax episode, Dev, I asked my guest questions.
Oh, let's go.
Got you 5 questions here.
Let's go.
So, what's the first thing you would do if you won the lottery and why? And I'll say I've been averaging out the past few episodes $10 million. You get $10 million. What's the first thing you're doing with it?
I'd buy a massive property in the interior of BC for like my family and friends that can just forever go there.
Yeah.
I just want like acreage, man. I just want to have property where I can do wherever I want. So I do that. I make sure the fam's good, and then I'd probably spend the rest of my life traveling.
Yeah, that's I think the first thing I said I would do is one, like, not the boring answer, but I'd like pay off my parents' mortgage or something like that on the house so that they just didn't have to worry about it anymore. But I'd buy like a lake house or like a lakeside property.
Yeah.
Just so I had like somewhere to go in the summer and all that. And then I think I'd take some of it and just like travel the world.
100%.
Yeah, and just like maybe invest some. But no, I think like buying a lakeside property is like, man, it's my dream to have.
Man, having like beautiful properties somewhere, you can never go wrong with that, man.
Yeah, no, and it's like always, what's the word? It's like it's always gonna have value. It's never gonna decrease in value. Like property is always gonna be like highly acclaimed. So, I mean, property is the way to go. But what's the second question? What's the most embarrassing way you've injured yourself? Whether it's a minor injury or major injury, what's an embarrassing way you've hurt yourself?
So it was I was in grade 7. We went to the same middle school, and do you remember that where the French school or the French pod area?
Yeah.
There's kind of like that giant grass patch.
Yeah.
So we play football there, and I was playing football at the end of the day, and the football went over the fence. So I'm like, oh, no worries, I'll just quickly hop this fence. And my buddy Manny was like, think it'd be funny. He like swiped my legs while I was hopping over the fence, and the top of the chain link got unraveled somehow and pierced my thigh. And when I fell down, it tore my thigh open. Like giant gash in my leg. So I called my mom because back in the day, like, you know how Boy Who Cried Wolf, eventually they didn't believe him that the wolf was there. It was that scenario. I called my mom. I need a ride. I tore my leg. She's like, shut up. Hangs up on me. So I like
Moira, no.
Yeah, I'm like, Mom, please. So she's like, no. So I bloody limp over to my friend's house who lived like right across the street. And his mom's just like, oh my God, like grabs an ice pack and drives me to the clinic. And my wound was so big. Normally they like inject the needle to numb it. They just had to spray it all over my wound or whatever. And it took like 28 double stitches to close it.
Oh my God.
Thankfully, it wasn't like 6 inches higher, or I'd be talking in a different tone right now.
Holy.
Yeah, that was that close.
Oh my gosh. Yo, as soon as you said like the fence unraveled, I was like, I know where this is going.
Oh, it was awful, man.
Yeah, I was heating up my lunch in the summer, and I overestimated how hot it needed to be.
Oh no.
So I take the bowl out and I'm like, fuck, I drop it all on the floor. It was so hot. Bowl shatters, food everywhere, all in my kitchen. And I'm bare feet. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna hop out of the kitchen here. But I step on a shattered piece of bowl, slice my foot open.
Oh.
Yeah, and it 8 stitches or 9 stitches technically, because when I got there, like it looks like there's bullet holes in my foot from the freezing. right?
You just got Megan the Stallion.
Yeah. And so she had like a doctor's assistant or like in training do my stitches, but one of them was loose.
Oh yeah,
So he
yeah.
had to take out the stitching, refreeze my foot. So he had to re-stab me and then redo the stitch. I
That's
was
brutal,
like,
bro.
oh my God. Yeah, I was in so much pain, man. That shit hurt. And like when it happened, I was like in shock. I was like my foot's bleeding. Like what's happening? It's just a cut. And then my mom's like, oh my gosh, I need to take Devin to the hospital. I was like, what? We have to go to the hospital? I've never been to the hospital before. And like I kind of just went into a panic. I was like, what is happening? Like even the car
Yeah.
ride there, I was like, is it bad? Like I don't even know if it's bad. My mom's like, just shut up, like whatever. And she runs a daycare, right? So like
Oh
there's
yeah.
daycare at the house, and she's like, someone needs to come home right now and look after the kids. I had to drive Jevin to the hospital, blah 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 blah. And I was like, wow, this is like serious. Like what's happening? Like 8 stitches later, I'm in crutches for like a month while my
Oh,
stitches heal up.
foot's the worst, man, because you got to put shoes on and stuff like
Yeah, it
that.
sucked. It was terrible, man. It was terrible. Third question, a little bit easier. What meal or food can you not live without?
Ooh, stir fries.
Stir fries. That's the first stir fries we've had on the pod.
I love me a stir fry, bro. Oh, that's on it. Like when I'm traveling, when I meet new people, especially if
Yeah.
I'm traveling alone, I'll be like, hey, everybody go to the grocery store, buy one ingredient, like just random ingredient. Let's meet back for dinner and like we'll make a stir fry together. And I remember this one time, so I tell them we're gonna make a stir fry, so go buy something for a stir fry. This guy comes back with just a bag of apples. And I'm just like, yo, like I said, we're gonna make a stir fry with it. So we just cut up these apples and like threw them in there. They were okay. It kind of like soaked in the flavors of everything else, but it was kind of like
Weird.
I wouldn't do apples again in the stir fry. Let's just say that.
I feel like if you were to do apples, you'd have to like shave them.
Yeah, like how you would like shred a carrot almost, kind of.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
what you use to peel like the skin off a potato, like skin it
yeah,
almost. Use that on an apple, and shredded apple I feel like would be better than like chunks of apple.
yeah, because it would almost like mush into it or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
we just put chunks in there, and I don't
Yeah.
think I'd do it.
No, I don't think that sounds really appealing at all. But apple, that's interesting. I guess he just doesn't know what a stir fry is.
I think he did. I think he was just like, "Go, I'm gonna just screw up this stir fry here." But
Yeah,
it
I'm
was.
just gonna fuck it up for everyone.
I literally died. He pulled down like 20.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what to do. I was like, what are we supposed to do with this? Oh, that's so funny. I think mine's just pizza.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with pizza, man. I feel like pizza's a generic answer, though.
It's way too generic. I think maybe if I have to go away from it,
What specific pizza?
barbecue chicken,
Oh yeah, Leo's barbecue chicken is like goat tier.
chef's kiss.
Yeah.
But honestly, potatoes.
Oh yeah.
Can't live without potatoes.
Oh dude, I love because you can do potatoes every type of way.
Fries, hash browns, potato skins, baked potato. So versatile.
Yeah,
And you can have them at any meal of the day.
facts.
So potatoes, man, you're set for life. But what celebrity do you rate as a perfect 10?
Huh.
Man or female? You don't discriminate here, Devin.
Perfect 10. That's tough, man. Because like perfect 10 in my mind is like tip top perfect person. I'd probably have to do something stupid like who's that big guy on the Joe Rogan podcast all the time? He's like from New Jersey or whatever. He's always like, wake up and smell the roses.
I don't
Oh, it's on
know.
the tip of my Joey Diaz.
Joey Diaz?
I just feel like he's so original. He's like, he's just always true to himself. Like
Yeah,
in my mind, if you're true to yourself, that's a 10 out of 10. Like he's never switched up. He's like, I don't know. He's hilarious, man. I laugh every time I see him.
that's a good one. That's a good one. I'll say, dude, Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, I mean, he's beautiful, man. Don't
He's
tempt me.
hey, he's a Vancouver boy. That's already like at least 5 out of 10.
Yep.
If you're a hometown boy, he's got an absolute rocket for a wife. So
Yep.
he's winning there too. He's funny, good actor, and not a bad looking dude.
Facts. You see Deadpool?
I've seen Deadpool. Funny
That was
movies.
that was pretty good.
Yeah, good movies. But also Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman.
I don't think I've seen that.
Search up Gal Gadot right now.
Gal Gadot?
Yeah. Gadot, I believe. She's beautiful.
You're not wrong. Yeah, I'm a suck for dark-haired women, man.
I don't discriminate. Brunette or blonde. Because Carrie Underwood and Blake Lively, they're also my girls too. And they're blondes, so
Smoke show.
smoky. And like Carrie Underwood on the football, I believe it's Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
Man, take me away.
That's what's up.
That's what's up. But last question here, Dev. If any actor or actress were to play you in a movie about your life, who would it be?
I don't know. I don't know his name. He was the main guy to Into the Wild. Let me Google his name real quick here. I'm so bad with actors and like actresses.
I could tell.
What's his name here? He is John Craker.
Let's see here. How do you spell his name?
Oh no, that ain't it. Who is this man?
And it's Into the Wild?
It's Emile Hirsch, EMILE HIRSCH.
Emile Hirsch.
I want him to
this
play
man.
me. I mean, he's got short hair in that photo, but if he grew some long hair, I think he'd kill it as me.
Fire. I could see it. You can kind of. Oh no. Yeah, there's one like with blonde hair he has.
Yeah.
Kind of pull off you.
I'm not a big I'm not big into the movies and stuff like that, but if I had to tell you to watch one movie, Into the Wild, like that's my go-to, always watch go-to movie.
I just started watching the MCU in order.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's been a fire experience. I just watched Thor Ragnarok.
Oh yeah.
Great movie. Great
Man,
movie.
I love those movies. I haven't seen an MCU movie in a hot minute, but you know what? You're gonna kill me here. I've never seen Endgame.
Really?
I've never seen Endgame. Yeah.
Yo, it's got one of the greatest scenes in movie history.
I know. Every time I'm about to watch it, I see how long it is, and I'm just like, I don't have that.
It also like, have you seen everything before it?
I've seen it, like I'd have to rewatch it, but I've seen like all of it for sure. Like it's like not fresh in my mind or anything like that.
Like you probably like you've seen Infinity War.
Yeah, I've seen Infinity War.
So like you as long as you kind of know it's basically that, then
yeah,
Endgame's gonna be fire. But no, Endgame's. I just saw Endgame when it came out, so I haven't seen it since.
Oh yeah.
But just that like end scene alone.
Yeah.
Like,
had you tearing up?
Man, it's just like just chills. Not even like tearing up, just like, yo, this is insane.
Yeah.
This is wild. But yeah. Dev, this was a fun ass episode, man.
Thanks for having me on, man. Podcast debut.
podcast debut. Maybe we can get Mozzie on here too, and he can
Oh man, we'll bring out some debauch stories.
yeah, 100%. But let the people know where they can follow you or keep up to date with Devin
At Devin
Ahvenus.
Ahvenus, baby. It's not hard to find me.
Follow his Twitter. You'll know when he's going to the casino.
Yeah, if you like drunk tweets, I'm normally only ever tweeting when I'm drunk, so you'll get some solid ones every once in a while.
Oh man, whenever you get paid. Just
Yeah,
got paid Friday night, shotgun 3 beers. Who wants to go to the Nino?
I haven't been to casino in like 2 years now, so one of these casino nights are going to be lethal.
Oh, it has to happen.
Yeah.
Has to happen. But you guys know where to follow me on Instagram at Jevin.Lefave, on Twitter at JevinLefave. Find everything for the show on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at leftsideheavy_. Just released an episode on Wednesday, talked about the NFL divisional round and some news amongst the NHL. So go check that out and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Left Side Heavy. Catch full episodes, video episodes on there, and some clips as well. So it's a good time. And be sure to leave a rating and review on Apple and Spotify. Helps grow the show. Dev, it's been an absolute time, my man. I appreciate you coming on.
That's a 5-star rating on Apple and Spotify, people.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. That's why I brought you on here.
Let's go, baby. We ain't done.
We ain't done. Say that. No, but everyone, thank you for listening, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.